The hotel bar's dim light cast jagged shadows across my wife's face as she leaned forward, her voice a low, unsteady thread. Do you know the new doctor, Brandon? Her eyes, usually warm like sunlit amber, flickered with something sharp, guilt, maybe, or fear. The martini glass in her hand trembled, sending ripples through the clear liquid. My stomach lurched, not from the bourbon I'd barely touched, but from the way her words hung in the air, heavy with an unspoken truth. Around us, the hum of corporate chatter and clinking glasses faded, as if the world had narrowed to just her lips, her pause, and the dread pooling in my chest. We'd been married 9 years, Sarah and I. This work trip to Chicago, some medical conference she'd been buzzing about for weeks, was supposed to be a break. A chance to reconnect after months of her late nights at the hospital, my endless deadlines, and the quiet resentment that had crept into our silences. She'd been different lately. Distracted. Her phone always face down, her laughter too quick, too forced. I chalked it up to stress, new job, new city, new pressures. But now, sitting across from her in this sleek, sterile bar, her question about Brandon hit like a blade. Brandon. I echoed, my voice steady despite the tightening in my throat. The guy from your department? Yeah, you mentioned him. Why? I leaned back, forcing a casual tilt to my head, but my fingers gripped the edge of the table. The polished wood cool against my sweating palms. Sarah's gaze darted to the side, catching the flicker of a TV screen broadcasting some late-night game. Oh, no reason, she said too fast. He's just been helping me with a project. Her smile was a brittle thing, cracking at the edges. She sipped her martini, lips lingering on the glass as if it could shield her from my stare. I wanted to believe her. God, I did. But the air between us felt charged, like the moment before a storm breaks. I noticed the way her thumb rubbed circles on her glass, a nervous tick she hadn't had since we were dating, when she'd confessed to a fling that didn't mean anything. Back then, I'd swallowed the hurt, rationalized it as a youthful mistake. Now the memory clawed at me, sharp and insistent. The conference had been a whirlwind, panels, networking dinners, Sarah's colleagues swirling around us like moths drawn to her light. She was magnetic, always had been. Her laugh could fill a room, her confidence a quiet fire. But last night, at the gala, I'd seen her with Brandon. They stood too close, her hand brushing his arm as they laughed over some shared joke. I'd watched from across the room, a glass of cheap wine turning sour in my mouth. It was nothing, I'd told myself. Colleagues bond. It's normal. But the way his eyes lingered on her, the way she didn't pull away, it gnawed at me. Helping with a project. I repeated, my tone flat. That's all. The question was a hook, baited with hope and dread. I wanted her to laugh it off, to call me paranoid, to pull me into one of those tight hugs that used to fix everything. Instead, her shoulders stiffened, and she set her glass down with a clink that echoed like a gunshot in my ears. David, don't do this, she said, her voice low, almost pleading. Not here. Not now. Her eyes met mine. And for a moment, I saw something raw, panic maybe, or shame. It was gone as quickly as it came, replaced by a forced calm. You're overthinking it. Am I? The words slipped out before I could stop them, sharp and accusing. A couple at the next table glanced over, then quickly looked away. I lowered my voice, but the anger simmered. You've been different, Sarah. Distant. And now you bring up this guy out of nowhere? What am I supposed to think? Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating. I could hear my own heartbeat, a dull thud in my ears. The bar's jazz playlist looped to a mournful saxophone, its notes curling around us like smoke. I wanted to grab her, shake her, demand the truth. But I was afraid, terrified, of what she might say. She reached for my hand, her fingers cold against mine. I love you, David, she said, her voice breaking. You know that, right? But there was a tremor in her words, a crack in the facade. I pulled my hand back, the motion slow, deliberate, like I was dismantling something fragile. Tell me, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Tell me what's going on. Sarah's eyes glistened, and for a moment, I thought she'd cry. But she didn't. She straightened, her jaw tight, and looked at me with a mix of defiance and despair. It's not what you think, she said. Brandon and I, we got close. Too close. But it's over. It was a mistake. The words hit like a physical blow, knocking the air from my lungs. A mistake. The phrase echoed, hollow and inadequate. I saw flashes of them together. Her smile, his hand on her waist, stolen moments in hospital corridors. My mind spun, piecing together every late night, every vague excuse. How long had I been blind? How long had I trusted her while she built this secret life? When? I managed my voice raw. How long? She swallowed, her throat bobbing. A few weeks. It was nothing serious. Just a moment of weakness. Her words were a plea, but they only fueled the fire in my chest. Weakness? 9 years of marriage, of shared dreams and quiet mornings, reduced to a moment? I wanted to scream, to flip the table, to make the pain visible. Instead, I sat there frozen, as the world tilted. The bar's chatter resumed, oblivious to the wreckage unfolding at our table. Sarah's hand reached for me again. But I stood, chair scraping against the floor. I need air, I said, my voice distant, like it belonged to someone else. Outside, the Chicago night was cold, the wind slicing through my jacket. I walked, not knowing where, the city's lights blurring through unshed tears. Sarah's confession replayed in my mind, each word a fresh cut. I'd trusted her completely, built my life around her. Now every memory felt tainted, every promise hollow. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Sarah. Please come back. Let's talk. I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the screen. Part of me wanted to run back, to forgive, to cling to what we had. But another part, the part that burned with betrayal, wanted answers. More than she'd given. I turned back toward the hotel, my steps heavy, purposeful. The truth wasn't done with us yet. As I pushed through the revolving doors, I caught my reflection in the glass, a man unmoored, chasing a truth he wasn't sure he could survive. And then in the lobby I saw him. Brandon. He stood by the elevators, his phone in hand, a smile playing on his lips as he typed. My blood roared in my ears. Sarah had said it was over. But the way his fingers moved, the ease in his posture, it told a different story. I stopped, my heart pounding. The elevator dinged, and he stepped inside, oblivious to me. As the doors closed, my phone buzzed again. Another text from Sarah. I'm so sorry. I didn't tell you everything.